Somewhere in the bowels of the city that never sleeps
Kevin McCullough, radio host with Salem Media,
is a man also not sleeping.
Syndicated radio talk show host Kevin McCullough.
And that guy would like a word with you.
Many of you know him as Vostradamus.
Of course that Kevin show is going to be great. The only thing that could be greater, of course, would be that Donald show. But we don't have that, so we have that Kevin show.
Featuring the music of Dick Tunney and the Dream in Color Orchestra. And still to come in hour 2 of tonight's Kevin Show. She is the political personality, Skye Ostreicher. She worked on The Journey with Andrea Bocelli, Christian Kelly. And the man himself, the world's greatest living tenor, Mr. Bocelli, returns to the spotlight. And now, from Times Square, where the only thing slimier than the rat's gullet is the garbage coming out of the Manhattan DA's office. Here's that Kevin.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest tonight, a very special friend who I just made acquaintances with a couple of years ago as we were actually crisscrossing on the presidential campaign trail in the last election cycle. She happens to be someone who was on the left side of center and had a contest with someone that I knew who was on the right side of center. And I think they had like a sushi ordering contest or something. I don't remember what it was. It was very complicated. And it ended up working in her favor because the people that ordered the type of thing that they had to order ended up winning the White House. So congratulations, because this is my first Democrat on That Kevin Show since we have launched. I'm sorry, Arthur. That was a couple weeks ago, but I haven't had very many. She's the first female. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Skye Ostreicher.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me. And just so you know, our sushi roll poll really wasn't complicated at all. We had the Trump roll and the Biden roll, and it just turned out the Trump roll won that contest.
Oh, the Trump roll won. See, I thought the Biden roll had won.
It did. The Trump roll won, and it turns out that you can't predict elections with sushi rolls now, can you?
I think that there was a miscounting of the votes in the sushi poll too. So we'll have to leave it at that. It's good to see you. We ran into each other at a party last year. I mean, just before the final night of Harry Styles in New York, which I only remember because I took my wife to see him right after we had run into you. But you are ever the entrepreneur and media personality at City and State. And City and State, from what I'm learning, they kind of have branches in a lot of different states. You work obviously here in the one in New York. But what do you do? Let my listeners know about your charming and wonderful life.
Well, thanks, Kevin, and congratulations on That Kevin Show. It's great to see you here and your logo, fantastic. So this is my microphone prop that I run around with in the streets of New York. But I spent 10 years as a lobbyist learning the political system, and now I'm working with City and State. I started doing media interviews during the pandemic here on Zoom to get to know our elected leaders and what was going on all throughout the city and state of New York. But so with City and State, it's a video platform that we are using to work with private sector, nonprofit corporations in order to get messages across to the elected officials in the form of digital and social media, right? I think a lot of organizations typically hire their lobbying firm, their PR firm, their consultants, but everyone's on social media. So we got to get these messages across that way. So that's what I've been doing at City and State.
Well, and you have, even though you personally lean left of center, you have interviewed all of the electeds that were on city council and a lot of the people that represent both sides of the issue. So I know that you've had Curtis Sliwa when he ran for mayor, and Joe Borelli, who's the majority leader in at the city council, as guests of yours. And so you're kind of an equal opportunity place for people to come to. And I love that about you. You got a lot of common sense and you're very fair. And I just appreciate that so much. Let me ask you a couple of fun things. Everybody is looking at the election of 2024 coming up. But I want to just for a moment look back to the 2020 election. I know what the right and center right predominantly thought about election night and the arguments after, and even the differences all the way up to January 6th and things post January 6th and since then. I've never asked someone on the other side this question, and I think you'd give me an honest answer. Are there people left of center that genuinely believe that the election night in 2020 went without a hitch, completely perfect, and that there were no voting irregularities at all? Or is there a mixed bag of people that say, I don't really know, but we need to let the election be the election?
I don't know, Kevin. I think people are so traumatized. I mean, look at how far we've come over the last couple of years, how the narrative has been so focused on so many things. We have so many other issues going on. I don't know.
I'm going to take that as a no then.
I don't know how hung up people are on the 2020 election.
Well, and I appreciate that, because I think there is a subset on the right that definitely still are. And I think that it's driving a lot of the election integrity issues that are on state ballots and stuff across the board. When you think of what's coming in 2024, watching 2020 and 2022 happen, I'm curious as to your feelings about how the nation's going to embrace this election. Is it going to be super contentious? Is it going to be a chance to rise above our differences and find a unifying message that brings us together as a country? Or is it going to be more of the tribalism that we've kind of seen in the last few cycles?
Well, I think, a lot of the broadcast regular media out there that everyone watches loves to fan the flames of partisanship. They love that our country's so tribalized. They love that they can get advertisers and clicks on social media and YouTube to watch these outlandish things that one after the next says. And we are losing voters. That's what we're doing. And part of my little cause over here in New York with political personalities is really, like you said, to speak to everyone, left, right, center, extremists, right. Really get to know them. Because I think that that's what we need to move democracy forward, to get people out and vote, is to get to know the people behind the politics so we can work together instead of looking at everyone as a Republican or as a Democrat.
Do you sense that the pandemic shifted any of the demographics based on kind of policies that we endured during it, or things we are learning about it kind of in its post existence? Do you think that it changed anything about the way we're going to go about politics in going forward? I've never asked anybody on the left or right that question, but I am very intrigued by it.
Well, I think one of the issues that's come up nationwide, and especially in New York leading into our gubernatorial election last year, was public safety. And I know that drove a lot of people who would normally consider themselves Democrat to the right to vote for Lee Zeldin because of this public safety issue. And it's something like, when all eyes are on New York City, I live in Manhattan, I walk around and I don't know how safe it is. You hear and again, the news is fanning the flames there too, with every single email is about a shooting and otherwise. I mean, look at what happened across the country, right? We're seeing these shootings, and then all of a sudden the topic is guns and everyone talks about guns. So yeah, I guess that could sway when it comes time to a presidential election, talking about national issues like that.
Were you surprised that Lee Zeldin came as close as he did in 22?
No, I was not.
Because of the crime issue? Yeah,
because of the crime issue. And I'm a native Long Islander, and that's where Lee's from. And that's how people felt, right? Like a Long Island Democrat is very different than a New York City Democrat as an upstate New York Democrat. And you see that across the country. People can identify on all sides of the spectrum everywhere. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do something fun. Let's put our little projection hats on. The campaign has really not begun, but it kind of has. We're under 2 years from when it's going to be in the throes of the thick of it. Who do you think the Democrats have standing after their convention for the nomination?
I don't know.
Well,
it's not looking good. It's really not.
Well, of the people that you talk to, though, and I know that you talk to everybody, there's a mixed bag of, well, do we go with Biden again, or is there a governor? Is there a senator? I think Elizabeth Warren's going to announce her intention sometime in the near future if she hasn't already. What do you sense that there is a discontent, or do you think the wagons are going to circle and Joe's the man for the next run?
No, if we choose someone that's already been out there, I think we're going to lose more members of the Democratic Party.
So if he runs for re-election, you think it's a bad move?
Correct.
Okay. If people that are watching tonight want to find you online and want to see your great work, where do they go?
Thank you. On Instagram, The Political Personality, and my show on YouTube is Political Personalities with Skye.
Skye Ostreicher, great to see you. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks so much.
You got it. Kevin McCullough coming right back. And don't forget, Andrew Bocelli returns to the music spotlight later this hour.